Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. Our weather today out here is very well compared to some of the other places in America right now. And I have friends and family in Florida, so we're sending them all our thoughts and good wishes for them as they weather another hurricane coming that way. We got a great show today. Mr. Bryce will be coming on with an update, and I have Mr. Elton Mason on that I'm going to bring on in a few minutes. And Minister Angela Davis is going to be here talking about financial empowerment and then I'll be speaking about mothers, about by me stepping down from the Seattle Police Commission and Community Police Commission, and also Mothers Justice Breakfast. So just welcome and so glad that you're listening to the Mother's Justice Show. I'm going to bring my first guest on here right now, Mr. Elton Mason. I think he has some interesting information about all the work that he's been trying to get done and all the obstacles that's been in his way. How you doing, Mr. Mason?
Hi there. Good. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, I can hear you fine. Thank you so
Great.
much. Yes.
Great.
All right. So you want to just go ahead and give us some information? I know Mr. Rye was talking about what was going on a little bit, but you might want to just go ahead and so the listeners would know exactly what it is that you are speaking about right now.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. Really appreciate it. Knowledge is power.
Right, and Mr. Rye is on the phone also, so he'll be able to chime in. That's what I just had to say.
Mary, could I please go first? I'm at the Consul General's Office of India, and
Oh,
the
yes.
meeting where I am has started already. But I just
Okay.
want to say that it's a travesty what's happening to African American contractors, particularly the truckers. And I know I can hear your program later because it's very important for Elton Mason to say what he has to say. He grew up in the industry. His father, J.D. Mason, the late J.D. Mason, was president of the Independent Black Truckers and Excavators. So he's been knowing this industry forever. But for him not to get a state contract since 2012 because he's a troublemaker, a whistleblower, when you get left out, what do you have left to do but be a whistleblower and raise hell? You just don't have much choice. So anyway,
Right.
People are getting paid to call folks in the meetings. One meeting they called 10 black truckers to. The contract was already awarded, and Elton Mason knew about it, and everybody got upset with him because he knew the truth. So anyway, I look forward to hearing him later on. I'm going to step in this meeting in the council's office, okay?
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Rye, for calling in.
Okay.
All right. I guess he sets the grounds work for you. I laid it down there. So just go ahead, Mr. Mason, and tell us about just what's happening to you down in this great state. I call it the Mississippi of the West for Black people doing business. So that's what I call it.
Well, it's just continuous and ongoing discrimination, retaliation, not only by, I want to say 95% of the general contractors that perform highway contracts for the state of Washington. I'm sorry, I'm kind of
Oh,
being
that's okay.
interrupted here. I'm actually kind of working a little bit, but I'll get it back on track here. But yeah, it's just continuous discrimination and retaliation that's going on in the contracting world. We have an owner, which is Washington State Department of Transportation, that put out these the contracts and paid by the taxpayers of Washington State. And these taxes keep going up higher and higher and higher. But yet people of color are not getting their share of the pie, of the economical, pie that, we pay taxes too,
Right.
but, there's just continuous and ongoing, companies that are being certified, minority certified, in our industry, and they don't belong in the program. It's just not only manipulation, collusion, fraud that's going on, and unfortunately, I'm trying to do the best that I can about it, by reporting these companies, but you've got these millionaires that are in the industry and they're collecting, all of the contracts
Wow.
that's supposed to go towards legit minority owned businesses. One woman owned company has 90 trucks. These trucks cost $425,000 a piece. And
Oh,
they're,
that's
and
great.
they're, yeah, and her fleet is paid for,
Right.
and she's still in the program, and you've got this other woman owned company that she turned around and sold her company to a mail company. And he falsified documentation with the state of Washington, stating that he was a small owned business. And this guy's got over 89 semis,
Wow.
got over, they're working day and night. I mean, collecting, they're doing between 150 and $200 million worth of work throughout the next year or two. They're just, so it's really frustrating to hold even the state of Washington accountable. The playing field is not level. Uh, People of color, especially African American firms, are left out in the cold. This monopoly that's going on is running, especially African American
Right.
firms, out of business.
Well, now have you sought legal attorney? Do you have an attorney representing you and the other people? Is there an attorney involved with this?
It's not anymore. It's unfortunate that back in 2012, I exposed a broken system within our highway contracting. The Federal Highway Administration did a report on WASDOT and on the contractors that are fraudulently in the program. And, you can just Google Washington State Trucking FHWA, and you can see the report that they came back. The feds came back with a 36-page report stating that WASDOT has failed. They have failed. They have failed. They continue to not monitor the store. They continue to allow discrimination and retaliation. As a matter of fact, I've been whiteballed. Okay, I'm not blackballed. I've been whiteballed because these
Well,
are, excuse me.
no, I was just saying, but do you have a personal attorney? I mean, do you have any, have you tried any legal redress in the court by having an attorney to sue the state of Washington?
It's unfortunate that I had an attorney back in the day, and she has retired. We tried to bring a cause of action to the state of Washington to um, resolve my issue along with any other people of color in this industry. And we were actually discriminated by a federal judge, and it's on paper. She actually dismissed the state of Washington and stated that there is absolutely no law that states that I can bring a cause of action to a governmental agency. It's like they have sovereign immunity to do what they're doing.
Well,
So yeah,
wow.
it's difficult, extremely difficult to find an attorney that is knowledgeable and that has the resources to take on this issue, because it's a nationwide issue that's just destroying companies, and nobody's really doing anything about it. The news media, it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous. So
Well, I'm just, as you were speaking, I'm just thinking in my mind, there must be some other way to be able to at least get some attention about this. I don't know what kind of coalition it might be, but it seems to me that there ought to be some kind of coalition together this that the people come together to start a coalition about how bad it is in Washington State for people to get contracts, especially non-Caucasians to get contracts. And I mean, because with the coalition you get a lot more voices and you get a lot more people who can be involved, in the coalition to really want justice, and to be able to get justice. So because I know that we've had this conversation, and I really appreciate you bringing it to us and to the community. But I'm just, I'm looking to how to help solve this situation. and how to bring some kind of redress to the situation. And it just seems to me that maybe maybe the next thing could be a coalition of all the truckers and other people who've been left out to start a coalition, and you get a lot more people involved with a coalition, and sometimes it's easier to get something going with the coalition of people to kind of help with that,
Right. Other African American firms they will not dare to do what I've done.
Okay, so in other words, you're the only person that's willing to stand up, even though are they getting work that you're not getting? Are they getting contracts and you're not getting any? The other African
They
American.
they are being forced to work through these fraudulent firms or
Okay.
firms that don't qualify for the program
Okay,
at a
no,
lower
that's
rate.
not well, that wasn't the question I asked. I asked were they getting work? And so the answer is yes.
Well, yes, they're getting work.
Okay. Okay. So that's how they stay afloat then, because if they're not getting any work, then they're not going to stay afloat. So they might be working with some of the other companies who got their money, through other means, but they are working. The other contractors are working, and so you're the only one that's not working
Well, to
in
kind
the
of
in the trucking.
clarify, well, I understand. I'm not working because of what I'm doing, but
Okay.
these other contractors are selling their equipment. They're
Oh,
sporadically working, and
okay.
it's under duress
Well,
that
then,
they are working, yeah, through these other companies. So
all right.
they know if they stand up for what's right, that it's very clear what's happened to my firm,
Okay.
and they
Okay.
won't dare go down that road.
Okay. So they're not willing to pay the price. So I see what
No,
it.
oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. And so I
And I
understand
don't
that.
blame them. I really don't blame them. But we've got our governor in office. He's not running anymore. You've got these other two guys that are Ferguson and Reichert. That's running for governor, sitting in the seat. Really, really puzzles me. I mean, it perturbs me that these guys are talking about creating jobs, creating opportunity, creating their. I'm telling you, if you really listen to them, Bob's Ferguson's office is not doing anything about these fraudulent firms. Under the penalty of perjury, these guys are committing fraud. And the taxpayers are paying, whether you are of color or not. Everybody is paying the price, these high prices for these fraudulent firms to to perform this work.
Well, that's right, and I understand that piece. I'm just trying to figure out how we can get some momentum. I mean, because if they're not going to do it, sometimes the will of the people pushes people to get things done.
Right.
And that type of thing. And so, I mean, I'm one of the ones that they ran out of business, so I understand that. I mean,
Right.
so I understand. I mean, Mr. Branch, we got ran out, in the nursing home business, in the eye care business. So I understand that piece. And we had a good coalition of people who helped us, but on the end, they still came after us a few years later and ran us out. So I'm just trying to think of some solutions on how to get this done, or how to get more voices, so you're not the only one out there, and
Right.
especially if it's people across the country, especially if it's people across the country, that's doing this, and and having the same experience, then that means that you're not alone.
You,
That's what I mean. That means that you're not alone.
Right. No, definitely not alone. Nobody's really doing anything about it. You got these, people in our district. I mean, these representatives within our senators. You've got, the governor. Nobody is doing well. The only thing that they are doing for a fact is they
Hmm.
are. How can I say this? For instance, WASDOT has has fired people in the media so that they can control what's being reported, what's real.
Right. Oh yeah,
So,
look, right.
so that's not right. They should be making it right. So like I said, I mean, it's,
It's
it's,
frustrating.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
frustrating.
super. It super is.
Yeah.
I'm actually right now. I'm doing what I can
Okay.
to educate myself in the political arena, and I feel that I can do more for other people. Besides myself. And so I think in the future, I do plan on uh, being a public servant, it's in my blood to fight
Okay,
for what's right,
that's right.
and to stand up for the people. And I'm pretty
Okay,
sure once my name gets out there, I'm pretty sure people of color
okay,
will be proud to stand behind
okay,
someone like me that fight for
okay.
what's right.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I look forward to knowing more about that. And also, as I keep thinking about this in my thinking cap, because I've been organizing in this state for 34 years. And so just to see what can come through and how I might be able to give you some more assistance on organizing in a different way, and that type of
Right.
thing. But I really appreciate you coming on to Mother's Justice Show and keeping us abreast with all you're doing. And anytime you're doing something else and, you want us to know about it, just reach out and we'll let you make sure that, you come on to be able to, to spread the news. I mean, that something is happening. And, unfortunately, this is America. And we have been trying to, so-called get a piece of the pie ever since it was a pie.
Right.
So, I mean, and it's the same song and dance for us. And other people come and they get everything. And, and we still be trying. And it's not because we're not worthy. It's not because we don't know how to do this. We built America.
Right.
We built
For
this,
free.
yeah, and everything that they talk about that's good in America right now, we have something to do with it. So, but stay encouraged, and I'll make sure that you come back on and to talk about what's going on, and I'll be thinking to see how what all I can think about, see what I can think around the solution for you, okay, and how we can work together on the solution.
That would be great. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you, Mr. Mason. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on, and we'll talk again. All right.
Thank you.
You're
You bet.
welcome.
Have a
You
blessed day.
listen,
Thank you.
you too. Thank you for the blessing. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Let angels and Reiki and the search for mystical knowledge become a regular part of your routine Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Loretta Brown, owner of Reiki Oasis, Reiki Master Teacher, an angel messenger, and healing musician, all wrapped into one as she uses her voice to share knowledge of great mysteries, energetic laws, and messages of love from the divine. Join her and her show every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. to open your heart and heal your soul. Visit ReikiOasis.com for more information about her show.
Alternative Talk, 1150 on AM, 98.9 HD3 on HD, 1150kknw.com on the web.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. That's one of my favorite songs. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I want to bring on my next guest here. Minister Angela Davis, in her mind, is always on freedom and empowerment of the African American community and others. And she has a great name. And the other Angela Davis was in town, I think, this past weekend. Welcome, Minister Davis. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you. And how are you this afternoon?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. So good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. And I know you got a lot to share with us. We'll have about 15, maybe 20, 15, a little over 15 minutes for this segment. So yeah, I just know you as such a princess in the community and doing such a great work and just really a wonderful human being. So always glad to have you on. You wear many hats like most of us do in our community. But today, we're talking about financial empowerment, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, then yes, tell us about financial empowerment and what do we need to do to have more. My other guest was talking about not getting their fair share from Washington State, but you here to talk about getting a fair share from another kind of way, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of things that have to do with finance.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is faith. Some of it is fear. Some of it is, are we being fruitful with what it is that we have?
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, and can you look at it as, an opportunity to become more than what you envision? And a lot of that is all about the thought progress. And I do not, sit here and say, I have everything mastered, but I have a determination to continually always grow. And with that being said, when it comes to money and how we are supposed to, look at it, we're not poor. Poor is a state of mind.
Right.
There are people that have everything that they could even imagine to put their hands on, and they're still wishing they had something that wasn't enough. So when it comes to finances, how are we actually learning what it is that our emotions are tied to when it comes to money, that our actions, and what do we value? And with that being said, it really becomes a lot of things to a lot of people. And with that, there are unique situations and circumstances that lead people to reflect, transition, change, or look at money in a different way or how it is utilized. And, within the faith-based communities, I'm not saying this as a blanketed statement, but that a lot of people have a poverty mindset, thinking that there'll never be enough, they'll never have enough. They're not, and the universe is vast, the universe is big. And, whether you believe, Christianity or whatever that faith is, the concept is the mind can transform, shift.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, the fundamentals, money is not a toy, money is a tool. And how do we utilize it? And I have to learn that a lot of hard knocks in life, and I'm still on that process. I'm still in that journey and recognizing how do I utilize my tools financially. And then there's a lesson of what wealthy people have been educated on for generations.
Right.
and centuries. And with our community, my mission is no family left behind
Mm-hmm.
in planned and unplanned situations. And with that, there's so many strategies with finances. We talk about putting money in the bank. We talk about CDs. We talk about how we can invest in Bitcoin and all of those things. And there are a lot of people that are very well versed on those particular strategies, on the benefits and the not so good considerations to take into place. And one of those is Delvin Stubblefield, one attorney that is highly respected, with high integrity. And so we will be having an event on October 19th, and it is a faith-based financial empowerment event. And it is about the B word, budget. And what budget means, it's not a bad word. It's a relevant, tangible word that we need to live and use in a wise way. And, impulse spending is one of the things that a lot of people have an issue with. But at the same day, what we're talking about today is the financial empowerment event that we're having on October 19th at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. The church address is 124 21st Avenue. And Devin Stubblefield will be presenting the fundamentals of money, debt, what is debt, how to deal with it, what you need to do financially to get yourself a plan, ducks in a row, all that type of thing. Get yourself in a place of being able to be homeowners, all of those things that are necessary on that plane. And then I will present based on financial empowerment through the various products and services that we provide. Those services and products are very many. There's financial planning, there's annuities, there's final expense, all of those things. But for the wealthy, they've known these strategies for years. And by the law, by our Internal Revenue Codes, anything that is tied to life insurance, can be penalty-free and tax-free. And any amount of money that is growth within a life insurance vehicle is also penalty-free and tax-free by IRS codes.
Wow. I didn't know that. Oh.
And this is the thing. That is why we're saying no family left behind.
Right.
No family behind. Okay. And this is the point, that this event is not just a one-time event. This is the inaugural event. It's the first one. And the goal is to look at this particular one, since it is the very first one, so that we can look at what's working and what isn't working and to duplicate it. And this is intended for all faith houses and all faith beliefs, because everyone has a certain process that they consider when their loved ones transition. Whatever that process is something that is unique in honoring what our faith represents to us and that loved one.
Right.
So we have a variety of services, and we want to educate our community and provide the information so that everyone can begin to make wise choices on what it is that's best for them. Because each person is unique. Each person's fingerprints are unique, and
That's
so
right.
is their thing. So that's what it is. I get very passionate and everything, so I'll pause for some air.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel that, and that's very good, to have that passion, because excuse me, we've grown to we've grown as a community of knowing exactly what a difference between a want and a need. And now in the last 30 years or 40 years, with credit and all the other things that's available, a lot of people, a lot of us have not kind of walked away from some of the old things that our ancestors was doing. They always had an insurance policy. They saved for a rainy day, even if they didn't have a lot of rainy money. They always had something, and, had a little envelope. Sometimes they was putting it in a little envelope. Might not always been going to the bank, but and then in those days, when I came along, everything you had to pay for it before you got it to your house. So it was no credit, no credit, no credit card. I mean, you could go downtown and put it on layaway, your clothes, a washing machine, or furniture. I mean, all of those kinds of things. And then credit, I brought in a new day for all of Americans, and especially our community, because all of a sudden you can get a card and you can go buy something and pay for it later. And then that different kind of spending came in. You might have a little bit of more of a, I think I like that. I don't need it, but I like it anyway. I'm gonna buy it. I mean, so all these kind of things come into play once you get once you get access to that once you get access to that kind of credit and that type of things. And so I'm glad that you're doing this for the community and for all of us to tell the truth, because financial freedom, everybody needs it, and especially people who've never had it. I mean, to be able to understand that you have to understand a want from a need, and to make sure that you're not just taking care of your wants while you go ask somebody else to help you with your needs. I mean, because we were in the photography business, and a lot of times people would want us to just give them something free but they go to Nordstrom's and spend $45 or something, but they want something free from someplace else. And so that was really the things that we were dealing with. But I'm excited about this for you, and I know that you worked hard to get into this, into your business and the business that you have going, and your desire is to absolutely be of service to people, and especially to faith-based people in the different kinds of churches or synagogues or wherever you can fit in and whatever you can do. And so I really do understand that piece. So, so we're going to take a little break and come back and then let you talk to us a little bit more about it and what brought you to this exciting work. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. We'll be right back.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
I just got a text asking me to approve a bank transfer I didn't make. I bet you get messages like this too. So much of our lives are online today, from email to banking and everything in between. To make sure my information was protected, I checked out CISA's Secure Our World website for simple steps to stay safe online. Now I know how to protect myself from scammers, and you can learn too. Go to CISA at cisa.gov/Secure Our World.
Alternative Talk 1150, the talk of the sound.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. And sometimes I like the old songs because it reminds me of my grandmother and the people that I grew up with, So that's one of those old songs. A lot of people might not know that song, but it's an old song. I want to welcome my guest back, Minister Angela Davis. We've been knowing each other for a long time. I mean, she's just a shining star in the community now, just doing so much good work and just spreading herself just like the Creator would want. So welcome back, Minister Davis. And you might want to tell us who you're a minister at and some of the your excitement and how you got into this work and how what your outreach is.
Wow. Yes, it's really awesome. Yes, I am a minister at Freedom Church of Seattle, where Zachary K. Bruce is the senior pastor. And with that being said, many things about being a minister, it's not just behind the pulpit. It's about being a servant. It's about utilizing the heart, the hands, and the feet of our presence in the midst of utilizing whatever gifts we have. And with that, the excitement and the outreach, this being the inaugural event, we're still in a learning curve. This is the very first one. Mm-hmm. And what is the best strategy to reach the churches and the synagogues and the faith houses, and that's where, being able to be on platforms such as this and on the Converge and all of these things, they are all a blessing because you never know who's listening that can spread the word themselves. Mm-hmm. We've been all sending out flyers and stuff and information to our personal contacts. There are people on our team that are also having people. They're coming in for the event from Arkansas, Texas, and California, the other members on the team. And so we all have our own network of individuals that we're also reaching out to. But as we continue to learn, grow, and evolve, those are the things that we need to really begin to use the arts and science of communication for that,
right.
response. And what got me to this place was because of my other business, CCS Unlimited, where I was doing a lot of homicide circles and coming to vigils when people were lost and knowing the outpouring of need in the areas when loved ones pass. unplanned, unpredictableness, and all of that, and knowing that people need to have funds available to do certain things. And this is what led me to want to do this part, which is provide not only just, for funerals. We call this love insurance. We call it love because if we love our loved ones, we will try to do our best. Once we come into the awareness, sometimes we don't know, sometimes we don't have the ability. But once we come into the knowledge of it and awareness on, we become more mindful of it. And I like what you said earlier. You said, back in times past, people already knew that they needed insurance because they knew that death is certain, and we don't want to talk about it. But it's evident. It's real. It's a real reality,
That's right.
It's not always a sad scenario when someone passes on. Right. It's a celebration of the life that they lived, right. And that's love insurance helps us to do. Love assuring that we are doing all that we can for our loved ones while we're here. And hopefully we'll do that. You said save for a rainy day. And all of these things. So that's how it all came out. And this excitement is just knowing that, for example, if someone, the wealthy have been doing is they get policies when their children are 2 weeks old. And the cost of that policy is less than one McDonald's meal a month.
Wow.
And it grows money while the child is growing.
Yeah, so the Gerbil that comes to mind. You say baby Gerbil baby food has some kind of policy.
Yes. And then that's one policy, one strategy. And then there's one that pays out in 48 or 72 hours, even if you do have a policy. Sometimes they take months and weeks to get paid out, but the final expense is something that can do that. So these are some of the things that we want to provide information for our community, and whether someone decides to utilize it, it's not about, me trying to get this from that person. No, this is, do you know? Are you aware? You can make, I care about people more than I care about money. And things. And sometimes that might be a bad thing to some people. But when we come to loving one another and caring for one another, that's where I think the riches are the most valuable and the most precious.
Right. Well, gee whiz, I just really appreciate you coming on. This will be a podcast available if you want to send it out to let other people know. Probably tomorrow to be able to go to our website, KKNW, and find it there. But this is wonderful, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. And I know that wherever you are, high integrity is. I know that, and and sometimes that's not always the case in life. But I know that you will always, in your highest and best good, to do always what is right. And I appreciate that about you. So anyway, Minister Davis, you've been on many times, but this is the first time as Minister Davis. And I want to appreciate you. You're not a pastor, neither am I, but, it's good to have a ministry, and I have a ministry, social justice ministry, and you have a ministry also. And it's spreading uplift and information to the people in the community, because that's part of the good. That's part of the gospel of the good news is spreading good news and empowering people. So I appreciate you, Minister Davis, and we'll have you back on again. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
All righty. Thank you so much. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. We'll be right back. Thank you.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section and after Dad's back injury. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Trouble with opioids can start at home with unused medicines such as pills, patches, and syrups. You can remove the risk and protect your family. Find out how at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Bored with the other stations hammering away on the same old talking points? Try Alternative Talk 1150 and get some variety.
Wow, I love that song. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. If you listen to my show really often, you say, well, she loves a lot of songs. You know, that's what love is. Love has to be big. It has to be a large container. I don't have to choose. I can just love them all. If you're a mother and you had a lot of children, you had to love them all, okay? So I love that song, and it reminds me of a place and time in another era. You know, I grew up in that time, and you know, I love where I came from. So I'm going to spend some time right now talking about the Community Police Commission. Again, the City of Seattle and the Justice Department entered into a consent decree back in 2012. And things got rolling for the community around 2013. But the late John T. Williams was killed August 30th back in 2010. And a group of people came together, the MEDC Task Force on Police Accountability, Mothers for Police Accountability, and other groups came together. And we worked, we met every Wednesday for over a year and a half, working to bring the DOJ to town, and we were successful. I mean, we might not have gotten everything we wanted because we didn't always ask the right questions. And the Community Police Commission was set up, and Mayor McGinn. Now, one thing about him, he really did believe in us. I mean, you know, and he appointed 15 people. A lot of those people was part of the MEDC Task Force on Police Accountability. Lisa Dugard, Diane Narsaki, and a few other people, Jay Hollingsworth. And we worked together. The DOJ gave us the hard work to do. And the hard work was setting up the police accountability system as you see it today. OPA was inside the police department. We were successfully moved it out so people wouldn't have to go to the police department to file a complaint. And also, we set up the office of Inspector General. That was not here in those days. What we had was the auditor position that investigated complaints, and we thought that was a more superior idea because it was already working. And Merrick Bob, who was the monitor, he insisted on that piece, and they won. And Murray was the mayor by that time, and so Murray just said, "Okay." But we felt that the other auditor's position was absolutely most superior. But the office of Inspector General is going, and Lisa Judge is she's the Inspector General, and that office will be like the local monitor when the DOJ finally goes home. If they're almost ready to go home, I think they just they're waiting on. The other things that are out of compliance is crowd control management and the police accountability. You know, getting more police accountability because we really didn't really get any of what we thought we was going to get because the contract it's never been, the ordinance have never been ratified, and the police guild did not give an inch. So I stayed. I was the last commissioner. Hooray! 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 I stayed. Oh my goodness. I stayed from 2013 when I was appointed until last Monday. I stepped down. And the last commissioner that was appointed by McGinn. And I did all I could to work for police accountability. There's a trend in America, not only in Seattle, but police departments want to go backwards. And so, but I did what I could. And so I'm just proud of the work that we did. We got the one of the most successful use of force policy, and it's been accepted. Not only we did that here, but the Attorney General also has been using that on a state level. That we should all police officers should always try to de-escalate first, Now, it doesn't always work because, a lot of times police officers don't de-escalate, but the policy is there. And one of the things we know, if the policy is not updated and the officer is not trained to the policy, it will be no discipline. So I stepped down last Monday and I asked some people, to come see me because I hold court down by the elevator in the lobby. And the mayor came down and I had my new venture, my healing cards that we passed out. And quite a few people came by, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. One of my sons, D. Burrell, came all the way from Federal Way on 2 buses, and so I said, "Oh my goodness!" And so it was a great day. So I want to thank the city of Seattle. I want to thank all the mayors who let me stay in the seat, and I resigned on my own reasoning, and it was time for me to go. And also I'm going to just go ahead and segue into Mother's Justice Breakfast. Spend the last few minutes talking about that. It's coming up November 7th at the Royal Esquire Club. And it says breakfast, so it's going to be from 7 to 9. And Minister Davis is still with me, and she was there. She's been there for so few of the breakfast, and we might be asking her to be a volunteer to help us out this time. But we've been doing the breakfasts now probably since 2010, off and on. We had a couple of times we didn't complete that. One couple of years that we didn't have the breakfast. Before that, we did the Paul Robeson event, and that was an afternoon event. But the breakfast is going to be November 7th, 2 days after the election. We'll know if we're going forward or if we're going backwards. And it's going to be at the Royal Esquire Club. And I'm all excited. Bonnie Glenn, who's a deputy over at OPA, Office of Police Accountability, is going to be our speaker. She was the deputy prosecutor when Norm Mailing was the prosecutor many, many years ago. She's a fantastic person, and she's going to bring us a good message. Because Thurgood Marshall was our guy. He loved us. We don't have, the other justice right now don't love us as much as Thurgood Marshall did. So, Ms. Davis, you want to come on and talk a little bit about Mother's Justice Breakfast? You've been there I think you were there for two of them already. Once, yeah.
Yes. The Mother's Justice breakfast is such a positive and upbeat environment. People that come up that are morning people, they have a certain type of positivity and vibe and purpose, and certain places and spaces, not so much. But I know that it's been duplicated each time that I come. It's a level of positivity.
Yes.
It's a level of joy and enthusiasm.
Yes.
Something that's going to make life far more richer.
That's right.
And I really enjoyed that. And, getting to make connections with people that you normally, because they're so busy doing what it is that their purpose, their job, their profession, and for them to sit down and have a cup of coffee and eat something and just get to be themselves and not wear the role so much. Yeah. It's really a beautiful thing to see. And I know Bonnie Glenn from a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Back when we used to cook the burgers at McDonald's.
Okay. Wow.
To see, how she's flourished and done, all of the miraculous achievements and accolades. It's really an amazing and exciting thing that I'll be able to be there and to hear her speak.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, she's an adjunct professor over at Seattle U and the law school, and wow, and so just a fantastic attorney. I mean, of course, she's been, she's been doing a lot of work around the legal stuff, and I think she's even an international speaker around legal issues, and I hear she might even have a picture that she had when she met Thurgood Marshall, and Thurgood Marshall, he loved us. He loved us. He went to the court, and he was always prepared. He was prepared. He didn't go half-stepping because he came at a time when we had to be prepared. Yes. And and his excellence, he would set those cases up so he could go to appeal and appeal those cases. And it was his work is the reason why we're out of segregation. Brown versus the Board of Education that brought us out of segregation. So I'm always enamored by his love for us.
Yeah.
It's love for us. And I always suggest people to read The Devil in the Grove. It's a book about him down in Florida trying to free some young black man that was accused of rape, and it turned out to be a lie, but they all wind up dead. But he took that case and stuff. So yeah. So just come on out to the breakfast. I believe Minister Davis will probably be there in some capacity doing something. So come on out to the Esquire Club on November 7th at 7 a.m. Down on Rainier Avenue, and I'm excited about it myself. I'm excited about people who show up and that type of thing, and that excitement is like, okay, all right, well, let's keep doing this because going forward, mothers want to encourage younger mothers to come and be with us so we can absolutely teach them and understanding what it means to be an American citizen. I mean, we talk about the country, Mr. Mason was on talking about stuff, but that citizenship means something. And once you're a felon, your citizenship is like revoked. And so I believe that young people need to know that all your opportunity goes out of the window, once you become a felon and those kinds of things. So there's a lot of opportunity out there for growth, for younger people to come in. And you're 34 years of holding it down is a long time. So for mothers, but I'm excited about seeing everyone to come out to mothers for Mothers Justice Breakfast at the Royal Esquire Club at 7 p.m. 7 a.m. On November 7th, Harriet. November 7th, this year, Harriet. All right, so take care. Thank you for coming on. And next week, I'll still have some talk about Mothers Justice Breakfast and how they can get tickets and all of that. But thank you so much for being my guest today, Minister Davis, and also being a great friend of Mothers for Police Accountability. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you've been listening to the Mothers Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. You know I love radio. I'll be talking to you next time. Check us out on the podcast.